Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's broadcast of the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. We'd also like to thank our other great participating sponsors, Greek's Pizza, South 10th Street in Noblesville. Dine in, or you can pick it up. Call ahead at 317-773-4444. Other sponsors include Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and Hamilton County Reporter at www.readthereporter.com. Well, to say the least, in Hamilton County football this week, it was not a very good week for very many teams in Hamilton County. We're joined right now by Miller's head coach, Jason Simmons. And Jason, you guys ran into a buzzsaw up in Carmel.
Yeah, we certainly did. You know, we thought our kids competed and played hard. In the first half, we were down 14-0 with about 5.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter and had given up less than 100 yards. And so we put ourselves in some tough spots to be able to recover from. Defensively, that's as good a box. You know, their players in the box are as good as we've seen in a long, long time. That's Coach Hebert's got a very good group defensively, and I thought they were opportunistic offensively. You know, they took advantage of some short fields, took advantage of some big play opportunities. But we learned. You know, we talked about playing 26 guys for the first time last Friday against Lawrence North. Our kids were put into a great environment with it being Carmel's home opener. Our kids competed and played hard.
I was going to just say, home opener for Carmel, defending state champions. That had to be it just had to be a tough venue to just play in the other night.
You know, they had a great home crowd. You know, when you look at it, I thought our fans traveled and supported us really well. Mm-hmm. We were just disappointed we didn't give them something more to cheer for.
You know, tonight before everybody got here, we were talking about football in Hamilton County and really how all of the teams really get an excellent following. There's not too many games that I've been to your stadium in that the home side isn't filled up, and sometimes we even get the visitor side filled up. How important is that for your team?
Well, I think it's huge. You know, we want to reward our community by giving back. You know, we spent a bunch of time this off season, really from the month of December through the end of July, working in the community as much as we can. We'll have people ask us all the time, "Hey, can your team come do this? Can your team come do that?" And our kids know that's an expectation in our program, is to give back to our community. And we tell them all the time, we want to give back to the same community that's going to come out on Friday nights in the fall and support you. And that, you know, I think that shows, whether we're on the road or whether we're at home. Our fans have traveled with us.
I think one of the things that's really neat to me, and I was talking with a coworker today whose older son graduated from one of the schools here in Hamilton County. And I said, "Well, you're going to go back and watch football this fall?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, we wouldn't miss it." So it seems like even as families progress in age in that a lot of them, instead of being four-year fans, become permanent fans of the teams.
Well, I think when you look at the bang for your buck, if you can go watch football in Hamilton County and pay $5 or $6 at the gate, you're not going to find a better experience, in all honesty. And I think the IHSAA has a lot to do with that. But when you look at the level of football in Hamilton County, you're going to go catch any game on Friday night in Hamilton County and watch good football.
Yeah, it's great competition. Let's look back a little bit more at the game on Friday night, Coach. I know it was a tough loss, but you know, one of the keys to it, and you already said this, is that it was an opportunity for your kids to learn. How about some stars of the game for the kids?
We got two defensive linemen back. Dalton Davis and Kinja Jenkins played exceptionally well on Friday. When you look at the score and see 31-0, it's like, how can you talk about defensive guys playing well? But I really thought our defensive guys played hard and competed. We wore down in the second half a little bit just because we were defending so many snaps. Cody Leach got his first start at safety as a sophomore. Played some outside linebacker against Lawrence North due to injuries. We moved him back to safety. I thought he had a really solid game. He competed really hard. He prepared so well that he was going to go in there and have success. We started another senior at safety in Dylan Rutherford that did a nice job with his leadership all week. and did a nice job in his preparation. That showed in the game on Friday. And we had to get better inside linebacker play from Austin Breidenthal, and we did that. And so, we felt good about those guys defensively for sure. A bright spot for us so far this year through 2 games is our special teams crew. And we had some veteran guys coming back, and we knew we would. Grant Christie has had a great start to his senior year, long snapping and on our coverage units. Chase Evans and Jack Knight shared the punt duties Friday night, and both of them did a really nice job in the punt game. Got too many chances, but they executed those chances well. Mm-hmm. And we also have Andy Cleverly as our short snapper. And so we had some experience back there. Felt like that would be a strength of ours, and so far through 2 games, our special teams units have played well.
Let's talk just a little bit about non-conference games, because we're going to move on to the conference games here in just a couple minutes. In most of the HCC conference, you end up with 6 conference games, 3 non-conference games. And in looking at your schedule, your first 2 games, non-conference games, were against excellent opponents. Philosophically, do you like that idea of playing the better teams right out of the gate? Or I guess there would be a temptation maybe on some of the programs to say, give me a little lesser of a challenge, and maybe I could put another W out there.
Yeah, I'm not wired that way, to be honest. It's not, for me, it's not about my overall record. It's about what's going to prepare our kids to have the most amount of success down the road. And we talked to our kids today. You can feel sorry for yourselves being 0-2, or you can look and say, okay, we played 2 top 10 opponents in 6A. We're prepared to go play the HCC.
Mm-hmm.
and whether or not that completely dictates our level of success, time will tell. But we know going into it, between Lawrence North and Carmel, we've seen 2 really good football teams that have prepared us. If we're willing to stay the course and continue to grow and learn from the opportunities we've been given, we really think our non-conference schedule is going to help us down the road.
Now, I know you said you got a couple key players back. How's the rest of the injury situation looking?
It's kind of in flux every day. We still have some guys out, but the guys that we have that we're coaching right now, getting ready to go for Friday, are doing a really great job in their preparation. They're coming in before school, watching film. They're watching film on their own, on Huddle, and they're also preparing with just with their game plan report and with those practice reps. The 2 guys offensively that have played well for us through 2 games are our 2 tackles. We got sophomore right tackle in Cameron Knight, who's done a really nice job, and our left tackle in Remington Broadhead. Both those guys have been steady on the offensive line. So, there are a lot of positives growing. When you lose 2 games, mm-hmm. By a combined 57 points, it's hard to sit here and say there's a lot of positives, but there are a lot of positives, and we have to keep growing, and we have to keep coaching, and we have to keep getting better. And that's what we tried to do today, and that's what we're going to try and do tomorrow.
Well, I think you really hit the nail right on the head there, because it's tough for any team to come up against 2 top 10 teams right at the beginning of the season, and rightfully so, because these are good programs. Conference play starts this week, and at Hare Chevrolet Field, you'll be entertaining the Fishers Tigers come Friday night. Let's talk a little bit about that game and how you guys are preparing for it, and what to expect from the Tigers.
Yeah, I think when you look at a Rick Wimmer coach football team, you're going to have to defend certain things. You're going to have to defend inside zone and outside zone. You're going to have to defend the boot. They got a quarterback empty run game that preparation-wise you have to have a plan for. They're playing 2 quarterbacks right now. Both of them have strengths and weaknesses. More strengths than weaknesses. We saw both of them last year. We're going to have our hands full defensively, but I think we got to stay disciplined. We got to recognize the formation. That will be important. They're moving and bringing pressure, and that gave us problems this past Friday against Carmel. They're doing a lot of it with their own defense right now, and so we have to prepare for that well this week. We think they're going to continue to do that. They've done it through the first 2 games of the year, and it's going to be a physical game. I've yet to be involved in a Fishers Noblesville game that's been a blowout. Mm-hmm. I don't expect this one to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a 48-minute game, and I think that's where we have to grow as a football team. We've played a good quarter here, a good quarter here, a bad quarter there, and if we got to start to learn and grow with our young kids how to put 48 minutes together, and so hopefully we can do that this Friday.
And that game will be one of 2 games that will be featured Friday night here on Hamilton County Television. We'll have Craig Atkins and Perry Williams there at Hare Chevrolet Field coming up on Friday night at 7 o'clock. Coach, good luck Friday night, and we'll see you next week. Coach Jason Simmons, head coach of the Noblesville Millers. We'll be back with another coach after this.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street signs and banners conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show. Friends, we want to remind you that Noblesville Trophies offers a large range of products, including sports trophies, corporate awards, and in-house embroidery. Noblesville Trophies provides you with same-day service for those last-minute decisions. You can contact them at 317-773-7391 or check them out at www.noblesvilletrophies.com. We're joined by Coach Rick Wimmer of the Fishers Tigers. And Coach, before we get going and talk about last week's game, something really exciting has happened here between Hamilton County Television and your Fishers High School Sports Network. We have teamed up. So a lot of games that the Fishers High School Sports Network is producing are going to be seen here on Hamilton County Television. So your fans are going to get a chance to see a lot more games.
And our young men and probably some girls too to do that do a great job. I listened to some of their sportscasts of other sports, in the other seasons, and they really do a good job. So
well, that's how I got started in this. With the high school I went to in suburban Chicago, we had a radio station, and that's what started it all for me. Well, let's go back to football. It was, to say the least, a rough night over at Pike Township.
Well, Pike's got a very good football team, a much improved football team from a year ago. A lot of speed, athleticism. They have a very good scheme, and they play hard. I was very impressed with Pike, no question about it. But we are just we're struggling in some areas, a lot of areas, and we couldn't get the ball in the end zone. Had a number of opportunities inside the 10 3 different times, and could not score. Had a field goal blocked, and had a ball intercepted, and down there, and just. In their time lost it on down, so we just could not get it put in the end zone. If we put it in the end zone the two times, we have a 14-play drive to start the game, end up with a field goal blocked, and they get the ball back out at midfield on the blocked field goal because it went back, and then had about a 6 or 7 play drive, and then turned around and had a 16-play drive. And was 4th down on the 3-yard line and threw an interception in the end zone. So just had an open receiver and tried to get it to him, and another receiver stopped his route and came back, and a guy that just hadn't played a whole lot. But we've got so many injuries, and we're playing some young guys and some inexperienced guys, and it's showing. But we're going to keep coaching them, and I know our guys are going to keep playing hard, and most of like I told our players, the problems we're having are fixable problems. We just need to hang in there together and not get down on each other, and we can get it fixed.
Well, as I was looking at the stats Saturday morning, and it appeared to me, just again, this is on paper, and I was over at Guerin Friday night, so I did not get a chance to actually see the game. But it looks like Vore had a pretty good game, 15 for 27 for 169 yards, and it was almost like, well, we get just so close, we just can't get over that little hump.
John did have a good game in a lot of areas, but turnovers were an issue, and we had 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions, and John had a hand in all those, so he knows that we can't do that to survive. But I thought he directed our offense very well. He threw to the right guy almost every time. It was very accurate. I thought our receivers, we had 2 receivers particularly that did an outstanding job, Colin Stotts and Donovan McFarland. I thought were really outstanding.
I had Stotts for 7 receptions, 88 yards, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And I think Donovan had 5 or 6 receptions.
He had 6 for 59.
Those 2 guys, made key catches at critical times. We lost Michael Noble, our starting tailback, on the 3rd or 4th play of the game, and so we went with a series of 3 guys: Jeffrey Brown and Alex Green and Dylan Scally shared the running back load the rest of the game. And although we didn't end up with many yards, I thought we actually ran the ball pretty well. But we had too many negative plays that really cut back on our rushing yards. We had a couple tackles for loss. I think they had 7 or 8 tackles for loss that we just turned the guy loose up front. But I thought we were patient in our running game, and I thought we were physical and did a pretty good job moving the ball on the ground. When I looked at it at the end of the game, I was surprised we didn't have more yards rushing, but the negative yards will take that away from you.
Well, one stat I saw here that kind of stuck out that I think you're probably pretty pleased about is the number of penalties and penalty yards really came down. 3 penalties for a total of 12 yards in the game.
That had been a concern, early in the year for us, and we had a few more than that in the North Central game, but we had a lot of penalties in the 2 scrimmages that we had, our team scrimmage and then our scrimmage with Lawrence North. So we're doing a better job in that area, but we just got to keep coaching, and kids keep playing hard, and we've got to get through these injury situations we've got right now, and other kids are getting opportunities to play, so find out what they can do. But we're spread pretty thin, and I know Noblesville is too, so it should be an interesting game.
Let's talk about the medical report. How are some? I know we've got some who've been off a little while, and you've lost a couple more this week. Where are we at on those?
Well, I think most everybody we're going to get back in a pretty short term amount of time, but we're going to be without some guys this week. So, Matt Wolf practiced a little bit tonight. I don't know that he's going to be ready this week. We'll have to see, but that's good to get him back as an additional quarterback, and then we've got some struggles in the offensive line without mentioning who's injured for us, but we've got some of our better linemen out, and playing some young guys in there that are going to be that can be pretty good. I mean, they're certainly talented enough, but they just haven't had much experience, and really need to learn how to play at a varsity level. So. They're going to have to grow up fast.
One of the things I was noticing today as I was looking through the HCC teams in the conference is, with very few exceptions, all of the teams in the HCC play some pretty doggone good talent in their non-conference games, and exactly the same as same for your Tigers, with North Central and Pike right out of the chute, and then later in September you'll have Indianapolis Roncalli.
Oh yeah, it's our schedule. There's nowhere to hide on our schedule, and that's the way it is for most HCC teams. I think every HCC team this week, with the exception of Westfield, lost, and they all lost to good teams. I mean, nobody was. I wouldn't call any of them upsets, but our league. I think there's a lot of years that our league can play with just about anybody in the MIC. But I'm not. This year it appears that that the MIC is very good top to bottom.
It's going to probably be more competitive than it's been for years.
Yeah, and I think it maybe from what we've seen, I think when we get into our conference, I think our conference is going to be pretty competitive too. This is a new season when we get started here this week. So
speaking of new season, conference play begins for the Tigers this Friday night at Hare Chevrolet Field when you come visiting the Millers. Tell us how you're preparing and what do we expect from that game?
Well, it'll be a 4-quarter game, I'm sure. We've watched them on film, and I thought their defensive line looked very good against Carmel. Carmel did not, despite a high score by Carmel, they didn't run the ball very well on them, I didn't think. And I thought their defensive front stood up pretty well to Carmel. They give you some things to prepare for with our defense, with their offense. They've got 2 quarterbacks that executing some things on the offense, and the one, the Barnes young man had a great game against us in the first time we played last year, and we had a hard time stopping him. I'm sure we're going to see a heavy dose of him, and the other one throws it very well. They like to throw it to Barnes, so they got a couple tailbacks that have good speed and can run away from people. So we're going to have our defense is going to have to play much better than we did a week ago, and I think they will. But we're going to have to make sure we're a little better there. Sports Center's calling us, I think.
Well, while you're looking at that, I'll remind our fans that Greek's Pizza is one of our sponsors here on the Hamilton County Coaches Show. They're located on South 10th Street. You can dine in or you can pick it up at 317-773-4444. And also a reminder, Friday night at 7 o'clock, it will be the Fishers Tigers coming to Hare Stadium, Hare Chevrolet Field, and that will be the Hamilton County Television Game of the Week, Friday night at 7. Coach Wimmer, thank you for joining us. We always appreciate it. Good to see you. And we'll be back with more coaches on the Hamilton County Coaches Show after this.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street Signs and Banners, conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County Coaches Show, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. You know that Logan Street Signs and Banners specializes in last-minute signage and banners. They've been serving Hamilton County since 1992. You can contact them at 317-773-7200 or visit their website, www.loganstreetsigns.com. Other great participating sponsors tonight, Greek's Pizza on South 10th Street here in Noblesville. You can dine in or you can take it out. They have the restaurant on South 10th Street, or you can give them a call, 317-773-4444. And we, of course, like to thank Greek's Pizza for providing the pizza every Monday night for the Coaches Show here on Hamilton County Television. We're joined now by Sheridan head football coach Bud Wright. Bud, I was just kind of joking with you before the during the commercial break that unfortunately this week most of our Hamilton County teams won, but boy, your Blackhawks came through with a big victory over Clinton Central Friday night.
Yeah, we were very, very disappointed the first week against Western Boone. We thought we had a good opportunity and against them, and it didn't work out. We lost a close ball game, a little bit closer than what the score said. We were in the ball game up to 6 minutes to go, and then they scored and went ahead by 2 scores. But you know, that's the way it goes. You just sometimes you just don't get the job done. But we came back strong last week. Clinton Central was not as strong as football team as Western Boone, but we played a pretty good football game.
Well, I would say 56-6. You probably played a very good game.
Right. We went over the films tonight with a team and such there, and there was a lot of bright spots. They were pretty happy with their play.
Well, tell us about some of those bright spots. Give us players of the week.
Well, you know, we get different things, but it's really tough because we actually changed our offense a little bit from the week before and went to an offense I ran several years ago. We went to an ace back with a double wing or a slot or trips type set, and it gets to spread out a little bit more. We'd been an I team for quite a while, and we decided to go away from that. But anyway, Drake Delph's been doing a good job as far as running our offensive quarterback. Joe Callahan is our ace back now in the offense, and Joe had 2,041 yards rushing last year, and he's not got off to that good a start right now, but he's still our main football player as far as carrying the football. And Nick Burnell and Gunnar Williams are our 2 wings, and they both came through in flying colors. Up front, we're pretty big and we're pretty solid, I think. We don't have much depth, but I got 6 linemen playing 5 positions, and so we got watch out how we handle things there. But our 6 linemen are pretty good football players.
Well, a couple of things I noticed when I was looking over the final stats of the game. You guys did a very good job on the ground. 40 rushes, 281 yards.
Right. It was, like I say, we might take it by surprise by changing our offense a little bit, but our wings did an excellent job carrying the football and doing things, and you know, we're going to run the football no matter what. And Drake hit 4 of 9 passes, which kept off their toes as far as they couldn't gauge everything. We're throwing the ball a little bit more than we have in the past, so I think that's going to help our offense also.
The one area I noticed that you probably were not real happy with was 12 penalties for 106 yards.
That was one of the things I'm talking about as far as in both ball games now. Last week we had 8 penalties for, I think, 90 yards. And this week we had 12 penalties for 106. So that's one of the things we had a little talk on tonight and trying to get that straightened out. We can't win big ball games with that kind of mistakes. And a lot of them is concentration, jumping off sides, getting a false start, that kind of thing, blocking in the back, things that they should be able to concentrate on and stop. So hopefully we get that worked out.
I was looking at some of the action during the game, and your first score in the third quarter is a 66-yard punt return
By a freshman kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's we have a young kid that is a heck of a football player. He was an awful good football player last year in the middle school, and we've been bringing him along a little bit slow because we are a senior junior dominated ball club. Most of our kids on our ball club are juniors and seniors. I think we only got one sophomore starting, and so we are an older football team. So we're bringing the kid along a little bit slower than we just don't want to rush him into it. But he's our return man. He had actually for the ball game he had 223 all-purpose yards.
That's
and
a good game.
That's a really good game, especially for a freshman.
That'll bring a smile to your face, won't
Yeah,
it?
He had 123, I think, yards on 113 yards on punt returns, and
66 yards was the one for the
touchdown.
Yeah.
He had 70 some yards on punt returns or kick returns, and he had 12 yards rushing, and he had 32 yards on an interception.
You take away that one that went back for a touchdown. Just the idea that you've got a weapon there in the backfield and taking that ball that's going to give you a good return on the punt, set you up in good field position. That's very important.
Right. That's what we looked at. Like I say, it was on the films tonight, and our punt return and kickoff return blocking is the best it's been in several years. I think they're catching on how to do it a little bit better, and we had excellent blocking on our kickoff and punt returns.
Well, you've got one of your conference games in the books, and it looks like we get 5 more to go, and you'll be at Tri-Central on Friday night.
Another conference school, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got a solid football team. We expect a good game from them. George Gilbert's one of the older coaches and very knowledgeable in football. Does a great job with working with his team, and and they won the state since we have. They won the state in 2013, I believe, and they were awful good in 2014, and then the last couple of years they've been down a little bit, but. He'll build it back up, and he does a great job there with his team.
How about injuries? Any injury problems for you going into the game?
Yes. Against Western Boone in the first quarter, we lost a defensive end who's a 4-year starter. In fact, he went to the surgeon today to look at possibly when he's going to have surgery, such as ACL in the first quarter. And like I say, he's a 4-year starter for us. He started at defensive end as a freshman, and this would be his 4th year at that position. And the kid was 6 foot, about 235 pounds, and a really good football player. And we were able to move the people around, and I think get him replaced. But we lost depth, and I just hate to see a senior like that in his career not being able to finish out the year.
Yeah, that's a shame that he can't. A 3-year player like that.
Yeah, Hunter Plouffe, and he, like I say, he's been a mainstay for us there for this. He started his 4th year, and we hate to lose him.
That's Coach Bud Wright of Sheridan Blackhawks. Coach, good luck against Tri-Central coming up Friday night, and we'll be back with another coach on the Coaches Show here in just a few moments.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street Signs and Banners, conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show, brought to you by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsors, Greek's Pizza on South 10th Street. You can dine in or you can take it out. If you want to pick it up, give them a call a few minutes ahead of time at 317-773-4444 or dine in there at Greek's Pizza. Our other sponsors, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter. That's at www.readthereporter.com. I'm joined by Golden Eagles head coach Tom Dilley. And Tom, I expected to see you come walking in here with a big smile on your face after that game Friday night. That was a great football game against Lafayette Central Catholic.
No, it was a lot of fun. Our kids had a lot of fun. Our kids played hard, and you know, their kids played hard too. It's always fun to compete against those guys. They're a great program. I have a ton of respect for them. But obviously, it's time to move on and get ready for next week.
Let's talk a little bit about that game Friday night. One of the, to me, the most outstanding person I saw Friday night was Kaiser with 200 and plus some odd yards. What an effort!
Yeah, Thomas did a nice job, and you know, Thomas is a great young man, and would be one of the first to tell you also how much he appreciated the other guys that were out there working at the same time he was with the offensive line and some other things. But he did have some very nice runs, and did a good job of blocking when called upon as well, and played a good all-around football game. He's doing a lot of kicking for us as well.
I thought you guys did a very good job of mixing up the plays, and I noticed you had 42 rushes and 25 pass plays, but 256 yards on the ground, 132 yards in the air, and that's got to be a factor in keeping the opponent a little bit off balance.
Well, you would hope so, and you know, when people talk about balance, we always want to be a balanced football team, and some people who've seen us play may snicker at that a little bit because we run the ball a lot. But for us, what balance means is having the ability to run or throw when we want to, when we need to, and we work hard at both aspects of our offense.
Now, Kaiser had a great game, but in order for him to get the 216 yards that he got, that front line opened up some nice holes for him.
Yeah, and our front line guys, our interior 5 offensive linemen are all new. All 5 of them from last year, which was a good offensive line for a couple of years. All of them graduated. So we've gone through some growing pains, and these guys have have struggled at times, and they still struggled on Friday at times, but they're getting better each week. And Nico Albert, we thought, had maybe one of the better games out of those front five, our left guard, but guys have stepped up in there.
Well, it just seemed to me from in broadcasting the game with Craig Adkins that regardless of where you ran Kaiser, the front line did just a very, very nice job of opening up holes for him.
We thought they did. They played a good game. Thought they played better than the week before, and hopefully they'll continue that trend. We even lost our starting center midweek, and he didn't even get to play. So again, kids just kind of stepped up. Reese Davies was our starting center this week and did a nice job. And, guys just are stepping up and improving each week, and it's kind of one of the neat things about playing some kids that don't have a lot of experience. They improve a lot because they have they start from not knowing much of anything and just get a little better every week.
With the backfield like you guys have got, it's probably very tempting to try to rely more and more on that because you've had so much success with it. But Luke Keller also had a real good game, 13 for 25, and I think his final was 132 passing yards.
Sounds about right. I mean, Luke is a returning starter for us. He's a great leader and great young man, and he'd be the first to tell you also that a few of those incompletions he kind of rushed and forced, and he'd like to have a few of them back. He would be critical of his own performance probably, but he did do a nice job. And I think one of the best things he does too is just he has a nice calming influence on the rest of the team. He doesn't get rattled. He's been out there and knows what it looks like and knows what he wants it to look like, and very good leader.
Now, you were going into this game against Lafayette Central Catholic, and I think the series was something like you won one or two of the last 10 games against them.
Yeah.
How did you approach that with the kids?
You didn't really even talk about it. I mean, the kids know what Lafayette Central Catholic brings to the table, what their program is about. They have a lot of respect for them. They know they're going to get a well-coached, physical team that executes and has complete confidence in what they're doing on the other side. And we have to play our best. But, we really try to strive every week that we try to treat everybody the same. And it's really more about us executing than it is about what the other team brings to the table. We certainly want to be familiar with what they like to do and those types of things. But it's about us getting better. And I think our kids definitely got better this week.
Let's talk a little bit about your fan base, Coach, because as I was driving up to the school shortly before 6 o'clock, I'm pulling off a Gray Road, and I'm looking in the parking lot, and I'm saying to myself, what time is this game starting? I'm thinking maybe it was a 7 o'clock game because there were so many people there, and you got one of the best tailgate crews I have ever seen out there, and your fan support is phenomenal.
Yeah, with redoing the stadium a few years ago, one of the things that came after that was they actually built a turnaround, true tailgate specific area. Has a nice grass infield on the inside, and a lot of times they even get out there and put lines on it for the kids and let them run around and play. But no, our fans are awesome. Our venue is very fan friendly, I think, and it's a nice community feel. Of course, as you're coaching, you never pay too much attention to it, but you hear nothing but good things about what it's like to be in the stands. I did happen to see our student body, which is always great, but I think was even a little bit larger than taking up maybe an additional section compared to.
I was guessing there was probably of the student body there was probably just guessing. I would guess there was at least between a third and a half of the kids in school that were there.
Probably, and we have a lot of them on the field too. And there were some other things going on in the community that week and that night. I think there was a big concert that night too. But our kids like being together and being with our community.
Yeah, I commented to Craig during the game. One of the only drawbacks of coming in here is you really don't have enough seats for everybody right now. You really need to grow the seating area, which is a very positive thing.
Sure, we really like those seating mounds that were built a couple years ago, and I know they're not maybe as comfortable as regular seats, but a lot of families can throw blankets down and have a good time right there too. And I think from what I've heard, one of the biggest things we need is just more exits after the game. There's only one way to get out, and it takes a while. But it's a small price to pay for having a great
Yeah,
community
well, you
support.
guys certainly put on a good overall game and experience, and what a great family atmosphere.
Yeah,
it,
and I
it
think
is
one thing
also.
that can't be underestimated or overstated either is, we have a first-year athletic director, Matt Lane, who was on our staff for a few years as a football coach, but running events like that don't just happen either, and he does a nice job of putting that thing together.
So we beat Lafayette Central Catholic last Friday. This Friday, you're on the road at Heritage Christian. Heritage Christian, a little bit different team than what they used to be, especially since without Ron Qualls there anymore. It's a little bit different makeup out there, isn't it?
Yeah, Coach Ray's first year was last year, and it's the first time we had played them, or I had any interaction with Heritage Christian. Have viewed them from afar, and have always been a good program. And Ron's a really good coach and a good man. But Coach Ray's working, and they've got him going in the right direction too. And kids played with a lot of enthusiasm and confidence, and they're a dangerous team.
What are you looking for coming out of them?
Well, I mean, we know that they can spread you out and use the whole field and make you defend vertically and horizontally, and we expect that's going to happen with their run game and their passing game. They have a good quarterback, good running back, and 4 good receivers out there, and a pretty good stout offensive line. Their defense is real aggressive and playing with a lot of confidence, and been very effective this year too.
Of course, they've got some state championships under their belt in their history, just like Lafayette Central Catholic had. And
tradition never
like
graduates.
a few years ago that you had.
Yeah, well, that's a long time ago.
Been a few years ago. How are we on injuries this week?
Okay, we did, as I mentioned, have an offensive line injury in practice a couple weeks ago, or last week, and we're still waiting to see if we get Michael McGreal back. But we had one of our tackles who had been out for a couple weeks came back last week and played a lot. So, we got a few thigh bruise here and some things there that we need to keep an eye on over the next couple of days. But we're in just as good a shape as we were going into the game.
That's Coach Tom Dilley, the head man of the Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles. Coach, we thank you for being here. I'd like to remind everybody that Logan Street Signs and Banners specializes in last-minute signage and banners, and we thank them for sponsoring the Hamilton County Coaches Show. We'll be back with another coach in just a minute.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street.
We moved 22 years ago.
You're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore?
Exactly.
So what are you saying?
Logan Street Signs and Banners, conveniently not located on Logan Street, but on South 10th Street in Noblesville, Indiana.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County Coaches Show, brought to you by Logan Street Signs and Banners, specializing in last-minute signage and banners. And we'd like to remind you that most of our great Hamilton County television live programming or on demand, you can see it on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, on the IHSAA TV app. Also, download that IHSAA TV app on your iPhone or your iPad and watch the games live, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.hctvyoutube.com. Hamilton Southeastern assistant coach Matt Alfeld joins us. Coach, it was a rough night down at North Central Friday night.
Yeah, it was. We didn't get off the start we'd like to get off to, and they've got a lot to do with that. Offensively, just had trouble getting anything clicking until well into the second quarter, and a lot of 3 and outs. Turnover. Defensively, did a decent job in the first couple series. Let a couple 3rd and longs get us down into field goal range, and they converted, go up 3-0. And then, they hit us on a big play. About the 3rd or 4th series, a 62-yard touchdown pass on the opening play of the series. So, had a breakdown there in our secondary and in our alley coverage. Things that we've gone to work on to try to clean up. But you're down 10-0. Then we turn the ball over deep in our own territory. They run 2 plays, score again, go up 17-0 about midway through the second quarter. So not the kind of start that you're going to be able to get off to against a good football team like North Central is, and have very much success. We were able to climb our way back into it, put together a nice drive before half. Did a nice job there. Hit Nick Muncher in the back of the end zone. Made a nice leaping one-handed grab from Cody Huppenthal. Gets us within 10. Defense holds to go in halftime down 17-7. So second half, I thought defensively we played well. Got 5 consecutive turnovers. Not turnovers, but punts. Stops. Offense gets going a little bit. Gets a score. Gets us within 17-14. Defense comes back out, gets a pick. So, we got the ball at midfield, down 17-14. Feeling pretty good about how things are going. There's still 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, so plenty of time to, make a comeback, tie, or take the lead. Had an offensive pass interference on 2nd down that pushes us back to 2nd and 25. End up getting put into a punting situation, and punter couldn't handle the snap. It was a good snap, just one of those things. Just dropped it, and it's on the carpet. Tried to pick it up and make a play and punt it, and they block it, scoop and score. Now we're down 10. So just one of those things where the wheels kind of came off after that penalty, and then we have the punt for the return. Defensively, we've got them deep, 3rd and 15, down on their goal line. Best case scenario on 3rd and 15, we've got an opportunity for a sack and a safety. Worst case, they're punting out of their end zone, put the ball in midfield, down 10. We lose contain on our pass rush, and their quarterback gets outside, makes a nice play, hits a guy right at the sticks, and then they end up milking the clock, going down and scoring on us to go up 17, and that was the end. So a lot of things to clean up, but some good things too. So we went back to work tonight and had a good practice, so we've got to go from there.
Well, you've got to give Kevin O'Shea a lot of credit, being his 2nd game at North Central, and he's already won more games than the team had won in the last couple seasons, and he has really brought a lot to that program, and not only the program, but to the MIC conference in football in the Indianapolis area, overall.
Yeah, he's a heck of a coach, and obviously you win as much as he has at the various places he's been. LCC, he was at McCutcheon, Attica. He's been around and has a good staff, and guys that can coach. And Coach Kreinhagen, the guy that was there the last 2 years, he really was getting that thing rolling. He had kids in the youth program. He was really active in that youth program. They had some really good classes put together at the freshman level and JV, and kind of seeing the fruits of those labors too. So I think Coach Kreinhagen deserves a lot of credit for what's going on there as well as Coach O'Shea. But they got players, and they play hard, and boy, they're starting to believe, and they fly around, and they're a good football team. They're going to give teams in the MIC all they want, and those of us in Sectional 5 are going to have to deal with them in October.
I was just going to mention, with the sectional realignment, it'll be Fishers, Pike, Hamilton Southeastern, and North Central again. So it's possible that you guys could see North Central a second time.
You could, and that was kind of what I was talking to the kids about defensively today. Is that hey, it's week 2, and yeah, it's not any fun to lose a ball game, but we're not turning. It's Monday. We're not turning our stuff in. This didn't happen on November 2nd. You know, this is something we get the opportunity to come back, and we didn't lose anything as far as a championship from this loss. It didn't cost us our conference, you know, ability to win a conference championship. It didn't cost us the ability to win a sectional championship. It gave us a lot of things that we can work on, and now we get to live to fight another day, and came out today with the mindset of there's things we need to clean up, and let's get busy on them. So that's kind of the way we're approaching it, and now we're going into the conference season and got to move forward.
How's the medical report this week?
Yeah, got some guys banged up. You know, particularly defensively, we had a couple of guys that weren't able to finish the game. You know, a corner and a linebacker. But we've got some depth in those spots, and we've got some kids, younger kids, you know, that we feel like can come in and help us out. And it's always that next man up mentality. So we got Jack Boyd back from injury. Was hurt in the Kokomo game, and was actually able to play and play well on Friday night. So he's rounding back into form. So next man up, we're going to keep on going forward, and hopefully we can get guys back here soon.
How's Jackson Sweeney coming along?
Jackson's getting there. You know, still, you know, an open timetable as far as when we're going to be able to have him back. But you know, he's chomping at the bit to play, and is starting to do some moving and some running a little bit. So you know, no timetable right now, but we're hoping soon.
HCC conference play begins this week. I know the preseason, even though we still have one non-conference game, toward the end of the season when Brebeuf will be at HSE, but the next 5 weeks it's all conference games with the likes of Avon, Fishers, Westfield, Zionsville, Noblesville, and then of course the last game of the season is Brownsburg. So every week it gets tougher, or remains is tough.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing a 6A schedule and in a conference like the HCC, you know, there's not a down week. And Brebeuf, new opponent, they're good too. So we're gonna have to be prepared every week, and we're gonna have to bring our A game, and we're not gonna be able to let teams jump out to 17-0 leads on us, or it's gonna be a long night like we found out on Friday night. So it's gonna be a meat grinder.
Let's talk a little bit more specifically about Avon. Avon's coming off of a loss to Brownsburg, a bad loss, 52-20, a game that maybe they might not have been expected to win, but one would have thought it probably would have been a little closer.
Well, Avon, they're one thing that jumps off the page at me when I'm watching film on them is their offense is just incredibly explosive. They've got the receiver going to Wisconsin, their quarterback's a 2-year starter, 4 guys on the offensive line return, and they're just humongous. They've got a center, guard, and tackle that are 300 pounds apiece, and they're not just 300 pounds strong physical. They can move a little bit too. So offensively, they got tons of weapons. Their running back's back. He's only a junior, but was started as a sophomore. So, and they like to involve him in the passing game, and there's just weapons all over the place. So they can put up points, you know, at any time. They can break big plays. They broke a couple against Ben Davis. Obviously, Ben Davis is an elite team as well. So we'll definitely have our hands full. And got to work on them tonight, and there's a lot. They come out in multiple formations. You know, they don't get in anything and stay in it too long. You know, they're in their top formation. I only saw them in it 15% of the time over the last 2 games. So they're in a lot of things. There's a lot of different things we have to be able to line up to, and they've got playmakers and explosive athletes all over the field, so we're going to have to be ready. Last year it was a 3-point loss at Avon, which was probably, you could probably put in the heartbreaker classification. Yeah, if I remember right, we get the ball down at the 10-yard line and going in to take the lead, and we threw a pick six, 95-yard pick six to the kid that's down at IU, Fitzgerald. So that was kind of the backbreaker of that one. And so, yeah, that still stings a little bit, and ended up eventually costing us conference championship. And it's going to be a tough game. Last year was tough. We get them at our place. Haven't played a home game yet, so looking forward to inviting them in and getting after it. So we're going to have a good week of practice. Well, Hamilton County Television will be there to broadcast the game on Friday night, so everybody can watch that Friday evening at 7. The other game of the week will be Fishers at Noblesville. So we're going to have the eastern and southern portion of Hamilton County very well covered here for Friday night football. Well, good luck, Coach. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. Always good to see you. Coach Matt Alfeld of the Hamilton Southeastern Royals.
Fans, we'd like to remind you that Logan Street Signs and Banners specializes in last-minute signage and banners. They've been serving Noblesville and Hamilton County since 1992. Contact them at 317-773-7200 or visit their website, www.loganstreetsigns.com. And while you're at Logan Street Signs, check out Noblesville Trophies. They offer a large range of products, including sports trophies, corporate awards, and in-house embroidery. Noblesville Trophies provides you with same-day service for those last-minute decisions. Contact them at 317-773-7391 or check them out at www.noblesvilletrophies.com. Our final guest tonight, Perry Williams, had a chance to catch up with Westfield High School varsity coach Jake Gilbert earlier this morning, and let's see what Jake and Perry had to say.
Well, welcome to the Hamilton County Football Show. I'm Perry Williams, along with Coach Jake Gilbert. Welcome, Jake.
Thanks for having me again.
Boy, what a difference of two halves in this game this week with Southport. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, great win, first of all. A very good Southport football team, excellent defensive team. They kind of had a stymie to start the game. We were not doing much offensively. We turned the ball over, gave them a short field, and they scored a touchdown. And had a couple of dynamic playmakers. So, yeah, at halftime we were down 14-0. Hadn't played terrible on defense, but weren't playing great either. And then offensively did very little. Second half, came out, made a big play on special teams, scored. And on a touchdown pass, Cam Nance had a very good night, excellent second half, and so did Pat Beam. So those two guys connected twice in the second half on our first two series. We got 3 and out in between those two series. So just like that, we were able to tie the game up, and I think just the confidence level on our sideline really rose to the point that we knew we could win the game. Got one more score, and that was enough. So very close game. But a good opponent that we beat.
You know, the one thing, I watched the game because the Indiana High School Athletic Association TV broadcast your game from Lucas Oil. And one of the things Lance Scheib said, one of the difficult things about being a high school football coach is when you start a new year, you start a new team. I mean, you have to start all over. And in your case, you've had in Pepio and Ferrer, 2 big quarterbacks, and now you have Nance, but you've adjusted to the different styles on offense, so it's a little bit different for you. But I think Mr. Nance is playing some pretty good football.
Well, he's started to play better this week.
Yeah,
so threw the ball better. Still had a couple really good runs. Cam's an excellent athlete. He's got a great arm. But the best thing about Cam is he's just a great competitor. So when he's doing that and making good decisions, he's a really good quarterback. So we were pretty excited. I just felt like he made the plays that he needed to make for us to win the football game.
Yeah.
It's more than anything else, that's the best compliment I can give to him, is that he made the plays that had to be made for us to get a W.
And with, Freilich, I mean, everybody's aware of how good a football player he is. So, watching some of those plays, he did a great job as a decoy as well as running the football. So, that an opponent has to be aware that he's on the field.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great all-around football player. We haven't really gotten our running game going like we want. We've had every time we break a big run, it seems like we have a penalty. So more than anything, we need to corral some of the penalties, and I think his whole season would look different right now than what it has statistically. But we just have plenty to work on there. But Nate, he's going to absolutely be part of that solution.
Absolutely. And the one thing about it is in Southport, I know they lost their first game against Roncalli, but they came out on the field ready to play football. Yeah. I mean, and the Schatz kid and the Haskins, their wide receiver, and Codwell running and the ball. They were very, very strong football player. That's and Schatz is a nice sized kid, 6'5", 215 pounds. So.
Yeah. They're excellent at quarterback, and then the receiver, he's a future big-time player in this state, no question about that. But excellent job. Quarterback, they always are great at quarterback, so they do a very good job down there.
Yeah, and all three of those are juniors, by the way. So and
Well,
they're not playing next year.
That's good for the Rockies.
So you hope Southport does really well.
They can be great from now on.
Yeah. And the one thing, you know, and which is basically Jay Gilbert football is that defense. Your defense, even though they looked a tad bit flat, but I would have to say in that first half up front, Southport did a pretty good job of blocking. So
yeah. Well, they just kind of our game plan didn't work per se, especially on the receivers. So, but we did well enough to hang in there. When we gave up 14 points off of 2 turnovers, but one of them was a very short field. So there's that's not too bad. When we don't feel like we played our best defensively. But when you look at it in an explosive team like that, and it's like, well, we gave up 2 touchdowns, one of which was a short field, I guess maybe we're a little picky. But we're getting better defensively. I do believe that. We have to create more takeaways, but fundamentally we're improving. And not very many seniors out there. I think we'll be okay eventually on D.
I thought that, of course, Hauser led your team in solo tackles, which is
he's
what
going
you expect
every week.
Yeah. I know that one of the amazing things was, I know that he dropped a punt, and the fumble, and they recovered. The only time that you really lost the ball in that game, but the hit that he hit Haskins in the fourth quarter. Because Haskins had that pass in the fourth quarter, and Heiser I watched the video and ran it back a couple of times. Man, he hit him a ton, and he coughed up that football. So that was a big play in that fourth quarter.
Well, we depend on Kobe so much. I mean, he's a true throwback two-way player now. Yeah, and not to mention he's on every special team. So he's clearly a special kid and a special player. But he's a catalyst for us defensively. If we need a play, a lot of times we need him to make it. Whether that's creating a takeaway or a big hit to get us fired up, he provides a lot for us.
That's good. Well, let's talk about looking forward to this week. You play Zionsville, and the one thing about Zionsville, that opens the Hoosier Crossroad Conference season, and you got 6 straight games of Hoosier Crossroad Conference.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Nowhere to hide. So every week is just a battle. I mean, not only good teams, but these teams are so well coached. I don't know if people understand the level of coaching that these teams have that we play. They're so well coached, and I just so much respect for the staffs in our conference and these teams. And I think it's wide open every single week. All of us can beat each other, and so I'm real anxious to see where we stack up and how we fit into the conference this year.
Because, Zionsville opened up beating Pike 33-32. And,
great win.
And that was a big win for them. And Pike put it on one of our Hoosier Crossroad Conference teams this past week in Fisher. So Pike's a good football team. And then Zionsville played Lebanon. It looks like Lebanon's going to be a pretty good football team. I mean, they lost 34-31, but they're sitting 2-0 and scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, Lebanon has a lot of players. So, that was no shame in that, I guess. I think Zionsville's good. So, I feel like they've made some changes for the better. And I see some really good out of them. They're scary at receiver. So impressed with Broker, the quarterback. I've known him for a long time. I think he's the next level type of leader, but I feel like he has developed his body and his game like a senior should. But I just very, very impressed with the improvement in their quarterback play, and they know how to score. I mean, the bottom line is their coaching staff, their team, they know how to score points, and so it's going to be hard to stop them.
Right, and even though Broker's he didn't start all the games last year and play a lot, he still threw for 842 yards and completed 60% of his passes. So
but he's a lot better this
year. Yeah. And they have a pretty good running game too, and some players coming back from
they've got a couple different backs who are averaging close to 6 yards or 7 yards a carry, so in that range. They're huge up front. Their offensive line is big. They're athletic enough to reach you. I mean, they're a scary outfit to defend. I mean, this will not be fun. So, yeah, like I said, they're good at what they do. I mean, their system, Pat does a good job. That's why they score all these points.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is a team that averages over 30 points a game. So that defense of yours is going to have to be really.
We'll have our work cut out for us.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you got off to a good start here. How did it feel going back to Lucas for yourself and for the kids who played on that team last year?
It never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
There's just something magical about that stadium. I'm an enormous Colts fan personally, so
sure.
I love being there. Any chance we get, I just think it's special for the kids to be there. All the youth kids from our community were able to come out and make a tunnel for us. It's just special, Perry. So it felt special. You're kind of rushed in the warm-up. There's some things about it that aren't perfect, all that, but in the end of the day, I mean, you're getting to play a football game in Lucas Oil Stadium. Very few people could ever have that privilege. So I think for our kids and our staff, just a blessing to be able to be down there.
Well, that's great. Coach, how'd the teams fare on Saturday? Did you have games on Saturday?
We did. So our JV team, very impressive win. Our freshmen lost 28-24, so that was the first loss as a program. So our travel team, 7th grade, 8th grade, freshman, JV, and varsity, now we're at like 17-1 or something like that. So we've had a lot of winning. It's been a great start to the season, but we took our first loss this Saturday. Our freshman coughed one up, but we'll try to get back to the winning ways.
Absolutely, and that's important to. Wouldn't you say that's one of the difficult things in turning around a program is those winning ways, because it's basically a task in a football team.
Well, that's what I was so impressed with our varsity. So many of those guys have not played varsity football, but they expected to win that game, and we were down 14-0, and I just felt like the culture. So I didn't even talk to our kids at halftime. I just felt like their confidence level, the culture was such that they expected to come out and win the game. There's no panic. That takes a while to get, but I would say that that's one thing that as a program is going well right now, all the way down, is that our kids expect to win, and that's been a positive for us, and I'm very blessed to be the coach here.
Thanks a lot, Coach. I guess I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right. See you later. So this is Perry Williams. See you later.
The Football Coaches Show. Special announcement today. Jim Wofford has informed us that Hamilton County Television has partnered now with Fishers High School. Will be showcasing their student-produced sports on Hamilton County Television. So now you can watch the Fishers Sports Network games on www.hamiltoncountytelevision.com. And speaking of events coming up this week, we got a big week of sports coming up here on Hamilton County Television. Our first, the Fishers Sports Network will have the Noblesville at Fishers boys soccer game. That will be tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Then on Hamilton County Television, we also have girls soccer coming up. That will be on Wednesday night, as the Fishers Tigers will be at Noblesville. That'll be a 6:30 start this Wednesday. Coming up Friday night, two big rivalry-type games coming up on football-wise. It'll be the Fishers Tigers at the Noblesville Millers and the Avon Orioles at the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. Both of those games on Hamilton County Television, they begin at 7 o'clock. Also like to remind you that due to Labor Day next week, the Hamilton County Coaches Show will not be seen next week. Our next telecast will be 2 weeks from tonight on September 11th. We'd like to thank you for watching today's broadcast of the Hamilton County High School Football Coaches Show presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating 25 years in business. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsors, Greek's Pizza, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and the Hamilton County Reporter. You can get the Hamilton County Reporter at www.readthereporter.com. On behalf of Hamilton County Television, my name is Brad Silbert. Thank you for watching the Hamilton County Football Coaches Show tonight. Good night.